I will say it as a fan and nothing else. The turnover facing this Cleveland Browns roster is absolutely staggering. We are staring down a preseason where Shedeur Sanders, Jerry Jeudy, and Ronnie Hickman are all at legitimate risk of losing their starting jobs to younger talent or high-priced veterans. It is wild to see this much upheaval after we finally started finding a rhythm last year. And honestly, the more details come out, the harder it is to ignore what is going on behind the scenes. Smash that like button, subscribe, and drop your name and city below. Let's get into it. The Cleveland Browns are heading into the 2026 season facing a massive roster overhaul, with significant turnover expected across the offensive line, at edge rusher, and at the linebacker position. Perhaps the most pressing concern involves 3 veteran players currently fighting to retain their starting roles before the regular season even begins. Shedeur Sanders finds himself in an unexpected battle for the quarterback job after stepping in last year as a 5th-round pick. He managed to secure 3 total wins, including 2 victories during the final 2 weeks of the season, and earned a Pro Bowl nod while becoming a respected leader in our locker room. However, new head coach Todd Monken has insisted on an open competition between Sanders and Deshaun Watson, who is attempting a return after missing 2.5 seasons due to back-to-back Achilles injuries. And this is the part that gets me. The team is prioritizing Watson's experience despite his history, leaving fans frustrated by the potential mismanagement of a promising young talent. Beyond the quarterback room, Jerry Jeudy faces pressure from standout second-year wideout Isaiah Bond, who led the team with 18.8 yards per catch last season, while Jeudy struggled with 10 drop passes. Finally, safety Ronnie Hickman, a veteran of 26 starts, appears vulnerable after the front office declined to provide him with a second-round tender, opting for a cheaper deal instead before selecting Emmanuel McNeil-Warren in the draft. These decisions have left the fan base questioning the long-term vision of ownership, especially as we witness established contributors potentially being pushed out for unproven rookies. The uncertainty surrounding these 3 veterans creates a nervous energy throughout the facility that we cannot ignore. We have to wonder if these moves are truly about upgrading our talent level, or if there is a deeper financial motivation driving these changes behind the scenes. The most startling development is that the Browns are potentially moving on from Ronnie Hickman after his career year in 2025. This decision stems from a calculated financial move, as the team chose to tender him at the right of first refusal rather than a second-round tender, which would have cost $5.7 million, instead of his current $3.5 million salary. By keeping his price lower, the organization signaled they were comfortable letting him walk despite him starting all 17 games last season. What makes this even bigger is that this shift occurred before the team drafted Emmanuel McNeil-Warren in the 2nd round, clearly indicating the front office had been planning an upgrade at safety long before the college draft began. Historically, this team has struggled to move on from homegrown talent, but the front office now seems focused on maximizing efficiency over sentimentality. Internally, management likely views the defensive secondary as a unit in transition, aiming to integrate the youth of McNeil-Warren alongside the experience of Grant Delpit. While we might see all 3 safeties on the field during big nickel packages, the financial maneuver suggests the staff views Hickman as replaceable rather than an anchor. It is a tough pill to swallow for fans who watched him develop over 26 starts during the past 3 seasons. Yet, it perfectly captures the ruthless nature of the 2026 roster overhaul. We have seen similar roster pivots in the league where established veterans lose their status to cheaper, high-upside rookies, and usually, the coaching staff prioritizes the younger player to facilitate a long-term scheme fit. As we look toward the preseason, keep a close eye on the secondary rotations because the writing is on the wall regarding how the coaching staff intends to prioritize their new defensive investments over established veterans like Hickman. The stakes for this season are reaching a boiling point because the front office is clearly prioritizing a complete culture reset over the comfortable stability of our veteran starters. This massive turnover is not just about shuffling names on a depth chart. It is a fundamental shift in how we approach the game under coach Todd Monken. Here's the thing nobody wants to say. Keeping Deshaun Watson around feels like a desperate attempt to salvage a massive financial mistake rather than a search for the best player. If Shedeur Sanders loses his job after earning his place in the locker room last year, the locker room chemistry might suffer immediately. Beyond the quarterback drama, pushing Jerry Jeudy down the depth chart for Isaiah Bond, or demoting Ronnie Hickman for Emmanuel McNeil-Warren sends a signal that no veteran contract is safe anymore. This approach changes everything for our early divisional schedule. If we are still experimenting with new starters during the first month, those critical games against the Steelers and Ravens will become uphill battles where miscommunications could haunt us. We need consistency to contend, yet the management seems hell-bent on tearing things down to the studs. This creates a volatile environment that makes it difficult to project our playoff ceiling. While high turnover can sometimes spark a team, it more often leads to early season losses that we simply cannot afford in such a competitive conference. If our younger players like KC Conception and Denzel Boston do not transition perfectly to the speed of the professional game, we risk wasting the prime years of our defense. We are betting the entire 2026 season on the hope that these new faces can outperform the veterans who know the system. But history suggests that this kind of radical change usually leaves a team searching for an identity long after the season should have started. While we have already analyzed the offensive overhaul, we must look at the defensive backfield where Ronnie Hickman finds his starting role in jeopardy. The argument for replacing him centers on the strategic flexibility and youth provided by rookie Emmanuel McNeil-Warren. After the team opted for a restricted free agent tender worth $3.5 million rather than a higher-tier offer, it became clear the front office viewed his position as a potential area for an upgrade. The downside, however, is significant because Hickman has logged 26 starts over 3 seasons and proved his durability by appearing in every game during the 2025 campaign. The part fans are not ready for is the possibility that this veteran leadership is being sacrificed simply to save salary cap space despite his reliable production. Analysts around the league are debating if this is a genuine transition or just a leverage play to push him during training camp. Some pundits argue that with Grant Delpit already locked in, the team is looking for a specific type of coverage playmaker that the incoming draft class offers. Personally, I find the narrative that Hickman is a finished product to be quite premature. Here's where I land on this. While it is smart to integrate high draft picks like McNeil-Warren, discarding a proven, battle-tested starter who just finished his best season feels like a risky gamble for a team that desperately needs stability in the secondary. It is one thing to foster competition, but it is another to undervalue a player who has consistently answered the bell. If we want to compete, we need to balance that rookie energy with the steady hands of veterans who know this system inside and out. Moving on from a known commodity based on tender math might be a mistake we end up regretting once the season intensity finally spikes. The massive turnover we are witnessing suggests that the Cleveland Browns are finally moving toward a total identity reset, prioritizing fresh talent and competitive accountability over previous financial commitments. This shift signals a long-term strategy focused on building a roster that proves its worth on the field every single day, rather than relying on past reputations or expensive contracts. As fans, we should feel cautiously optimistic because this level of turnover demonstrates that owner Jimmy Haslam and head coach Todd Monken are committed to real, measurable improvements. What nobody is talking about is how these personnel battles for starting roles, specifically at quarterback between Shedeur Sanders and Deshaun Watson, indicate a culture where production must outweigh tenure. While it is certainly unsettling to see so many veterans like Ronnie Hickman and Jerry Jeudy pushed by rookies and high-performing depth players, this instability is the necessary price of high-level competition. Embracing this change means trusting that the coaching staff is serious about fielding the best possible team, even if it means moving on from familiar faces to integrate young, hungry talent like Emmanuel McNeil-Warren, KC Conception, or Denzel Boston. We are moving away from the complacency of the past and toward a future where jobs are won during the heat of the preseason. Given the intense pressure surrounding the quarterback competition, do you believe Todd Monken should commit to Shedeur Sanders as the starter immediately? Or do you prefer the experience Deshaun Watson brings to the field? If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Dawg Pound. I'll see you in the next one. Drop your thoughts in the comment section below because we want to hear your takes on this quarterback dilemma. Your engagement helps this community grow, so keep the conversation going right now, Cleveland.